Yeah, it wouldn't take, because I know I've seen them up in the city of Lowell for, like when trash collection is either delayed or not delayed, they'll have signs up, so they have the ability to do it, they probably
Sure.
have them, so, like I say, and who knows,
You back up now.
okay.
All right.
So that's something that you could look into. It might happen without you even making a phone call, who knows? you
Right,
know?
but yeah, we've got the electronic signs, we've also got the smaller A-frame signs that do get put up,
When?
so we can get those put up.
I'd like to comment on both.
Go ahead, Jose.
I'd like to
So
comment
when-
on both of
so,
this.
Jose, the same question I asked, when? What's it gonna take about getting the Williams to vote?
So the approach I've been taking, to be honest with you, the system is so broken when it comes to people voting that, old expression, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Start from the beginning. Get out there, and you'd be surprised how many people, probably without exaggeration, especially in my district, I could almost say 6 or 7 out of 10 people don't even know that we vote every year, or now that we have this district representation, how important it is for them to get out there and pick that one person that's going to represent their district, that's going to advocate for the district. If I had $1 for every time that I had to explain that to somebody, and I do it willingly because that's the point, to get that civic engagement up, I'd have a lot of dollars. And it's not just in my district. Sometimes I'm out in Belvedere. Wherever I am, I love the sound of my own voice. And people don't understand that. Like I say time and time again, this is not the Belvedere show anymore. Take control of your district, and you do that by voting. That's how you do that. And back to what you said about the signs. I would love to see them, because you know how many people just this weekend alone, canvassing, walking around, driving around, interviews, whatever it is. I'm like, hey, there's a Caribbean festival this weekend. What? Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean, what do I mean? There's been a festival in Lowell for the past 7-8 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
Let's go.
every
Let's
week
get
there's
out
one,
there.
yeah.
Like, so we need to bridge that disconnect between the community first, and then we can bridge that disconnect into getting I mean, when you see a wounded animal, you don't run up to it. I'm not comparing people to wounded animals, but
Sure.
the distrust, the disconnect when it comes to government, bring that home, because there is, maybe to a degree, but we don't have that same disconnect. We don't have that same, hold your people accountable. Start doing that. I keep telling them, like, try it with me. Vote for me this time, not for me, but just vote. And the next election, be a little more in tune. And if you don't like your representative, vote them out and see if you see a difference. Give me a couple of elections. And if you don't see a difference, you know what? Go back to sitting on the couch. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to see that difference right away.
Right.
So we'll see what happens, hopefully September 9th. I'd love to see 535 people. If 535 people come out for the primary, you can't tell me we haven't made a difference. Because that many people came out in the general last time. 350 votes is what the incumbent won the seat with. I'm sorry, but that's borderline embarrassing. If I win and I win with 350 votes, I'm losing it. Because that means I'm not doing a good enough job. I'm walking on every door.
Good for you.
November 5th, like what happened?
Are
What
you
happened?
both in the same district? or-
No,
Nope.
no.
Are you at large or?
I'm District 4, so I'm
Downtown area.
downtown and all the way up to your neighborhood,
Who-
actually.
Yeah,
Do you have
yeah,
a
yeah.
opponent?
I do, I have 2. So
Two,
we,
okay.
actually, right now, anybody in District 7, 8, and 3, I should have started with 3. Get out there and vote. You can
Yeah.
start today. If you don't start work till 10, get your butt down to the senior center.
There's
Vote.
there's 3 primaries drawn in the city. There's one over in Belvedere.
Okay.
And there's one where Jose is running, and the third one is up in John Dakota's district, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Highland.
Highland
And
tip.
that's it. The rest of them have just
How many opponents do you have?
Just one.
Just one.
And that'll be the November election.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
good,
Yeah,
good,
so-
cool. That's not bad.
No.
And just for the people out there that have a district where your incumbent is running unopposed, that doesn't mean stay home.
No.
Go out there, you still get to vote for school committee, you still get, and I know I don't have, the audience here
Yep.
are more in tune.
Yeah.
So, but still, reiterate that to your friends. Tell
You get to
people
vote
that
for at
don't
large,
vote.
right? Is there
Yeah,
a large
vote at
race?
large,
There is.
vote.
Yeah.
And plus, more importantly, you get to cast that vote.
And I think if they had been on a large primary, you might have even get more people out in your districts. It's too bad there wasn't a large, they're running, they have to wait till November to run the 4 or 5 candidates that are running for the at-large seat, so. And you had the chance to have, and I think you were one of the councilors that voted for the special election, Mike.
I was,
And,
yep.
and that was taken away from them. They could have had a special election in the Belvedere race.
Yep.
But the council chose not to go that route. But Wayne was one of the ones that supported the election. And now you have probably the same candidates that are running, that we're going to run in that race, and the special are running for this election, so.
Yep.
So Wayne, you're on the board now, you're on the council
Correct,
now.
yep.
Did you go to Switzerland?
I did not.
Okay, were you able to go?
So I didn't go because I had surgery on my thumb,
Oh,
was the
okay.
big reason I didn't go. It's pretty well healed now, but I didn't want to risk, having an infection and being overseas
Sure.
and having to deal with that. And, there's some family stuff too, but that was the big reason why I decided to stay home.
Yeah, not a big deal, I'm just curious.
I think there were 4 councilors that didn't go, right? It was you, Councilor Belanger, Councilor Noon, and there was a 4th one, I think.
I think
Kitcher.
Eric Kitcher didn't
Eric
go
Kitcher
also,
didn't
yeah.
go, yeah.
He's trying to get the school ready for the kids. He's like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Vesna Noon might not have
No,
gone.
he didn't go either.
Yeah.
He didn't go either. There were 4, so.
Yep.
But,
people got to understand the city hall right now, and maybe it's because I'm new to this, so you guys can correct me, but it's a business, it's like a board. And you get to elect one of those board members. A few people have asked me, what about the city manager? Well, you know what? He works for the city council.
Yep.
Depending who you elect, their job is to hold him accountable. We have the ability to fire him. So if you elect the city councils that reflect the views of your district, he can try to do whatever he wants. Some people could bring up Calorie Park. But if you have a council that's going to hold them accountable, doesn't matter who's sitting across from you at the city manager position. So this is so much bigger than just, ooh, that's my city councilor. He's a nice guy. But no, that has direct impacts in your life, like I said. So
right.
that-
So
as you can
Jose,
tell, I take this
that's one of the
very serious.
questions, that's one of the questions I put to every non-incumbent that's come on here, and I'd say to them, okay, say you win the primary, then you win in November. In January 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever it is, what is going to be your first conversation with the city manager? What's it going to be about?
Oh, we're going to have a lot of, we have conversations.
But what
now.
you must have some key things that you want to see him address, or you wouldn't be running. I mean, there must
I
be some
want
things that bother you that,
But my district has, and with reason, 535 people again. It shouldn't be that way, but, I want to see, what we're doing with all the money that's allocated throughout the city and how much is actually being, we talk about downtown revitalization. What are we doing to revitalize the acre to actually have jobs in the acre when we're living at a 32% poverty rating, when we have literally we're poorer than Compton, we're poorer than Chicago, we're poorer than Detroit in my district. What are we doing to that? How much money are we actually allocating into the district to, the acre is Lowell. That's the heart of Lowell. Without the acre, without
Yep.
those canals, without that river, there would be no Lowell.
yep.
So what are we doing to, focus on revitalizing the acre? Not just the money-wise, but what's the long-term plan for the acre with all this money coming in? $3 billion. I've said it time and time again. Let's be honest. They're not going to go to Belvedere and use that $3 billion unless it's to, those 70-plus acres of land they have over there. They're not going to start popping up 50 market rate apartments over there, but they are in my district. What impact is that going to have on the actual population of the acre now? I've said it time and time again. My main focus is to protect the integrity of the acre, and by that I mean its people and its history. What are we doing to talk about that? Again, without the acre, there would be no Lowell. The parts of Centerville and, we can go down the road, Clark Road, they were begging to become a part of Lowell. We were North Chelmsford before we became Lowell. And now we built this city and now we're just at the bottom of the hill. That's not okay. That is not okay. Again, 32% poverty rating. Most people don't believe me when I say that.
In the acre?
In the acre.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
it. And again,
And
without
that was
the
years
acre-
ago, quite an area, the acre, way back, even I can remember.
There's
like-
32% of the
30.
acre below the poverty rate? Wow.
Medium income is just shy of 40,000. We'll call it 40,000. 34% of the acre is owned by one entity, and it is all subsidized housing.
Wow.
What are we doing to break that gap? You have literally people that have been generationally stuck on that subsidized housing hamster wheel.
Yeah.
So
One of the things you don't have over in the acre, it seems, is, and I drive by there a lot, is the North Common. And why aren't there homeless on North Common? You almost think there's,
They were heard to the South Common by our city manager, that's why.
well,
They weren't heard.
Well,
I asked Jose the question, but yeah, okay. Yeah.
They tend to go where somebody.
Source bubble, they talk.
Oh, I don't blame you. It's your,
You read that message from.
how many people in District 4 and 7 own homes versus paying rent? When you pay a property tax, it always increases. That brings you to the ballot box, District 4. Well, yeah. You want to answer, somebody want to address that?
Sure,
guys?
I don't know what the rate is for the individual districts, but I know that across the city at large, we're a majority renting community. And I imagine that those ratios are only more extreme in District 4 and District 7, just due to the nature of the districts, right? You know, we have lots of large apartment buildings that are mostly rentals. We have a lot of senior and other subsidized housing in both of our districts. So that's going to push the equation even more towards rental than across the rest of the city. You go up to Belvedere, and it's largely single-family homes that are owner-occupied. So if you're getting to a majority rental, you got to do that somewhere other than Belvedere or Pawtucketville, and it's our neighborhoods.
Sure.
Do you know what
This
the,
one's directed to Jose.
But there has been more development of housing and openings of small businesses in the acre of the last 4 or 5 years than ever before. The redevelopment of the North Common as well. This is a prime example of the benefits of district representation. Good point.
Appreciate progress. I love
Yeah.
it. But I raised the question which it was great to see him there, by the way. You don't see too many elected officials at Let's Talk Lowell. And I actually asked him about that. So I want to know, so we have all this oh, look at all this property we just built. Great. So we're following 25%. We aim for 25% affordable housing in the rest market rate. How much of that market rate is actually being filled by Lowell residents? So yes, you are correct. There has been a ton of development going up, but is it targeting the people that are here, the people that are struggling? And that's why I love district representation. That's why I'm out here trying to get people to vote. I haven't asked for a single vote. I would hope that when I walk away from talking to you, you want to vote for me. Or you want to vote for the other guy because you're sick of my mouth and you just want me to shut up and go away. Doesn't matter. You're going to vote one way or another. But, that's the thing. We need to do better to protect the integrity of the acre, because all we're going to do is push these people out, because they are already struggling to pay that affordable housing as it is. Why don't we start pushing a path to homeownership to create that generational wealth? I don't care if it's a one-bedroom studio where somebody can buy it. Now they get to build some equity. They get to build something, leave something for their kids behind. So yes, no, you are 100% correct. We've had a ton of building going up, but optics. We see a building going up, but what's going up in that building? And who can afford to be in that building? It's probably somebody from Somerville before it is somebody from Winchester before it is somebody from the acre itself.
John was a former selectman in Draco, but you were also a former alderman in Chelsea.
Correct.
How's that city doing now? Is that,
the city
good
seems
shape?
to be, seems to be.
I'm sure you still keep in contacts, that you keep in
Yeah, I
contact.
do. I have contacts down there.
Yeah.
Not as much as I used to, but
Right.
yeah, I do.
Right.
But I mean, we talked earlier about them when they went into receivership. They were
Yeah.
like $10 million in the red, and they went into receivership. And now they have in their free cash probably 60% of their budget.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, so they don't have to go for overrides and all this other stuff.
We went down to see Bobby Hoey at Rehab, and he's looking, John's with us, a bunch of us went down to see Bobby Hoey. John's looking out the window describing what he's seeing in Chelsea.
Chelsea across the street,
Yeah,
It
yeah.
looks fabulous.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah.
it does. They're doing, the city has its issues. It has its issues. Its immigration population is very, very high. There's a lot of problems in the city with gangs, but they're trying to handle it. It's like any inner city. You're going to have issues. And the illegal immigrant population is a real issue over there too now. So,
In Chelsea?
in Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a problem everywhere in big cities because people matriculate to where the services are.
Well, you brought up safety. I mean,
Yep.
we have one challenger right now, and it's safety is their main concern. But I don't know. I grew up here, and for fifth largest city in Massachusetts, and we were fourth for a long time. We just dropped down to fifth, not because our population dwindled, but because somebody else has gone up.
Yep.
when you have a city like us, let's be honest here. I mean, I think it's what, like 113 on the last census. but-
115, yeah, something like that.
But let's
Either
be
way.
honest, we're very closer to 125. You know, people that didn't
Right.
fill out the census, the undocumented population. We're pretty damn safe. I mean, look at Cambridge, look at any other city of our size. And, you know, look at the money they have and the reputation. We're safer than them. So why do we have this narrative that we're not a safe city? And going back, fact check me, please. But I seen a number. It said out of 1,400 units in the acre, 1,100 of them are either subsidized or on some sort of assistance. So that just gives you a little bit of a drop in the bucket of why I believe leadership and, you know, having somebody to voice these things, you know, bring them to light is so important for District 7.
You talked about the issues you felt in District 7. You talked about poverty, Wayne, what about downtown? What do you think of the issues that, you probably addressed some of them being a council for almost 4 years. What do you think is still something you want to tackle if you're reelected in November?
Sure. So some of the challenges are very similar to what Jose is talking about in the acre. Downtown, the core of downtown is one of the poorest census tracts across the state. So there's a lot of affordability concerns there. There's a lot of economic development concerns. And, you know, those are all things we have to keep in mind as we look to revitalize and build things up. But also, you know, you look at situations like the Hamilton Canal District, like the Lowell High School project that is in District 4. You've got the Link project coming online with the university. There's a lot of things happening right now in District 4. And we have to be on top of it and make sure that we're building a connected city. We're not building, you know, what I call capsule neighborhoods, right? Like, I don't want to see the Link project develop into this place where people come in to work there and then leave the city, or they live there and they leave the city to work and come back and they don't interact with the rest of the city. And you can really foster that by how you build the infrastructure with that neighborhood, right? If there's one path in and one path out and it's for a car, that's how everybody's going to come and go. If you build it in a way that people can walk there, bike there, easily get downtown, you're encouraging that kind of cross-pollination that is going to make the city stronger. And we're just at the precipice right now of a lot of this stuff really kicking off and happening, so it's the time to get it right, because you're not going to be able to go back and do it later. Whatever we do now is going to be there for 20, 30, 50 years, so we have to make sure we get it right. That's one of the things I want to make sure we're concentrating on. We've seen significant economic development downtown. If you take a walk down Market Street now and you look at just look at the storefronts and look what's going on Market Street, and remember in your head what it looked like 5 years ago. There's almost no empty storefronts. There's one left that I actually saw some work happening in over the past week, so hopefully that's going to move forward. And we need to replicate that success we've had on Market Street across the rest of the city, really. You know, I'm advocating for Central Street, Merrimack Street, other streets that are in downtown, but really the lessons we learned there could be applied across the city, could be applied in the acre, could be applied in Centerville, you know, really across the city. We still got a lot of places where we can go back and really make some change. And, you know, you put in restaurants, businesses that people want to go to, it really transforms the feel of a business district into a place where people want to go and spend their time and spend their money. Mm-hmm. And once they do that, once you have that kind of critical mass of folks that are spending time there, it really kind of tamps down the stuff you don't want to see in your neighborhood. And so I think that really needs to be a central part of our development across the city as we look to, you know, move into the next few decades here.
Got a comment for the audience that 17% of downtown is owner occupied.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Thanks for the stat.
What's going on in the
low.
building on Merrimack Street, where the old Five and Dimes, where you probably know with the Five and Dimes, right on Merrimack Street?
The Hildreth building?
Yeah, what's going on there?
Yep.
What
So
business was that?
on the first floor, it's going to be the Hive Public Market, which is a bunch of the vendors that were in Mill Number 5 before that closed. So a bunch of those vendors are moving out of there. I've been told that all the retail space is leased out, and it should be opening this fall. And above that, there are going to be 50 market rate apartments.
Okay, all right. And your district also goes up to Pawtuckaville or Centerville? Pawtuckaville.
Little of both.
Okay,
Little of both.
Then you go up there through, up in that district up there.
Yep.
Like you said, it touches Draken almost. You know,
Yeah, it's
so-
basically on either side of the Beaver Brook. There's a swath all the way up to the Draken line. And really, when the districts were created, you know, you had 115,000 people, and you had to divide it by 8, and those 8 districts all needed to be within 1/2 of 1% population-wise. So what that meant was there was always going to be one district that crosses the river, just because that's the way the math works out, right?
Sure.
So you draw a circle around Pawtuckaville over here, you draw a circle around Centerville over here, you get that number, and then you have that slice in the middle, and they just kind of lump that on with downtown, because downtown doesn't have enough people to stand on its own. So that's why my district is downtown, a little bit of back, about half of back central, a slice of the acre, a slice of Centerville, and a slice of Pawtuckaville. It's kind of the mini at-large district.
Right,
And, you know, it's,
Clearly,
keeps me busy.
my own opinion, clearly gerrymandering, it never should have crossed the river. Tommy, can you read these 3?
A question for Mr. Jenness. What does he think should happen over at the Bishop Markham housing drug problem? Want to go one by one, John?
Just
or-
read them all, and then
Okay.
we'll address
Don't
them.
subsidize housing in the acre. Assist an acre residents obtain housing. If it was over all market rate, most of all the available units will be taken up by non-acre residents. This gentleman needs to pick a side on an issue. District 4 also has the Elm Street, Chump, and South Common and suites for the homeless. But, so want to take that first question?
Sure.
Wayne?
So for me, it's a question of enforcement. It's a question of partnership, right? We got to make sure that we are enforcing the laws we have on the books, and we are not letting the activity that's gone over there continue. And part of that falls with the Lowell Police Department. Part of that falls with the Lowell Housing Authority, and they're, you know, they own the properties, they're responsible for the security of the buildings and making sure their residents are safe. And, you know, the city is obviously willing to help and aid here. We've put a police precinct over in the Bishop Markham Village area, and that hasn't been as effective as I was hoping it would be. So we got to look at ways of possibly ramping that up. But really, it's just a question of making sure that the folks who are causing the problems don't continue to stay living in the buildings. I know that LHA has gone through the process, and it's a process to evict somebody.
Yeah.
You can't just walk up and say, you're out of here. You know, Massachusetts has pretty tenant favorable laws, so there's a process you got to follow, and it takes time. And I wish there was a way to, you know, when it's a public safety issue, to kind of speed that along. I don't know how we can do that. We probably need to work with our state representatives and Senate to really figure out a way to kind of streamline that, or at least make it move a little faster, because it can take months, if not years, to get somebody out of an apartment that shouldn't be there.
I think the housing authority should look into hiring their own security firm to run the whole place. I mean, just like UMass Lowell has their own police, they should, because it's horrible. What I'm hearing, it's horrible at Bishop Markham because of the situation with the common and the homeless, and you see the video.
Tommy, we
Sure.
have piss poor management with the Lowell Housing Authority. We've got to face it. It's a fact, okay? There should be cameras in those hallways. Cameras were invented a bazillion frickin' years ago. There are no cameras in the hall. They were stolen, they were broke. Well, replace them. Replace them. The people who live in Bishop Markham are afraid to leave their apartment.
I'm sure they are. But at
Yes.
full-time, if
And
they
what
had
do
a
we
full-time
do?
security on
Because the
site.
guy's got a bunch of jobs. Oh, we love our fearless leader, whatever his name is, because he can get my brother a job. Lowell's all about getting jobs.
But
It's
like I
not
said,
about excellence.
do you agree that if they had a full-time security force on that, not one part-time, not a
Well, just
full-time?
hire one of our friends to do it. Put the goddamn video on there. When I see Tommy
Language.
Bomo, when I see Tommy Bomo letting John Zimini in to sell drugs at the door, I'm calling you on the carpet because you live there. And that's how people get in that building. The tenants let them in. I'm done.
You sound like Ned Tarmey there, rant.
The housing authority, I'm sure, is stepping up, but they need to really be aggressive on it. And I think Tom's right, by putting a full-time security there would help, but are there
We
any
have
grants
a
for that?
police
But
precinct.
unfortunately, that's not
John, we have
Wayne,
a-
that's the housing authority, they should
Right.
be addressing this issue.
We have a police precinct in the building. What more do you want?
And Wayne said it's not working, right?
No.
You don't think it's working? We're all getting it the way you should have thought it would work.
Yeah, we're still having some significant problems over there. You might argue that some of the issues are worse now than they were 2 years ago. Or at least it's being exposed more, right? It's more visible than it was. But yeah, it obviously, that wasn't the magic bullet, putting the police precinct there. And I can't say exactly as to why that is, but, it's something we tried, and we're going to have to, try harder or change how we're approaching this in order to really make it safe for those folks who live over there.
My mom lives over there, and me and Presto took a walk down there, David Prestopino, and we just walked the neighborhood for about 45 minutes, talking to people, talking to some of the tenants, and, I don't disagree with John, get some cameras. We have those mobile camera units.
Sure.
We have them at Lowe's, we have them down the street, drop one right in that courtyard.
Yeah,
So,
Why not?
So one thing to know about some of those, particularly the one at Lowe's, that's not city-owned, that's owned by Lowe's. So.
So what do we have to do to get some for the city?
We have a couple. We could certainly buy some more, but of the ones you see around the city, a few of them are city-owned. Most of them are privately owned by the
You
businesses.
saw those big giant cameras you see?
Yep.
There's one I think I just saw near the South Common. I remember seeing one down near the housing project maybe a year back or so, but that's what you need
Yeah.
for security, to keep an eye on things. But I still think somebody at the housing should be putting a fire on them. They hire their own security police-type firm to get, not one or two security guys, to get the place under control. And, and police presence there, are the precincts 24/7? Is that just a 9 to 5 thing?
It's not 24/7. I don't know the exact hours, but it isn't, it isn't 24/7
Sure,
staffed.
sure.
And even if there is someone on duty who's, that precinct, they may be out in a car or moving around. They're not, stationed at the
I haven't
station.
noticed it lately, but I noticed over at Jay's Food Mart there down there, they had a cruiser parked there like all the
Yes.
time. I don't know if they've taken that away, but yeah, all the time. And I'm sure that helped deter some stuff, but you can only do so much.
Yeah, it comes and goes over there. It's unfortunately that is one of the hot spots, and LPD has done what they can, and every time it pops back up, they're right back over there, trying to control it and trying to tamp things down. But there's not enough officers in the city to be everywhere we want them to be.
Right. So,
I'm not sure
Oh, wait,
if
what does this camera do? There's a blue thing sitting over across the old church, it blinks.
that's what I'm
The
talking about.
homeless walk around this thing. What does it do? Does it record anything?
It does record, and it's linked back to the police station. The police can watch it live, and they can actually talk over it. So if you see somebody who's going to do something, you could open the microphone and say, hey, I'm watching you, don't throw that, or don't do whatever you're doing. And then, all that does get recorded and reported back to the station.
Understood, thank you.
That's the one I would-
Orwell's vision coming through.
John, a little
Big
tighter with
Brother
the
is
mic.
watching you.
I was about to say, you gotta walk that line, because how many people
Yeah.
are gonna start talking about we're living in a police state, so we
Yeah,
gotta be careful on what we can't bite our nose to spite our face.
I remember
you know?
that. I remember going through that when I was on the board of Alderman in Chelsea, that I proposed to put cameras in a particular square that was having a big problem. And I got a lot of pushback, right?
Yeah.
A lot of pushback. I says, I understand. I'm not a Big Brother fan either, that I want to have him looking in my house, but public safety is tantamount. If you can't come down the main square of your town and be fearful for your life, then you need to do something. You can't put a police officer on every corner or on every floor of the housing authority either. So, but I think that it's somewhat of a deterrent, and it helps the police get perpetrators.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
Yeah.
People I've heard some people refer to us as a dumping ground, but we also get, and again, correct me at any time that I'm wrong, I'm a construction worker, but I've done my homework.
Yeah.
we also have a lot of people being quote-unquote dumped there because we get
Yeah,
plenty of
absolutely.
money from the state, whether it's the city itself or we're an NGO city.
Yeah.
Or a lot of these nonprofits to offer assistance to the quote-unquote vagrants. So now, where are they gonna go when they need help? If Chelmsford doesn't have big old signs
No.
saying, come here, we're gonna offer this, we're gonna offer that, they're not gonna come.
John McDonough's peeve has been that
We
people dump them here.
we need to.
Bring them to Lowell.
Well, they're
But that's
clearing
the
out
thing.
mass cast because right now, Woo's gonna go bananas. So she's gonna clear out mass cast,
Yeah,
give them all the train ticket and say, hop on that train when it stops, get off. There's a big green park waiting for you.
yeah.
So then, yeah, but again, if we're making it known that we're getting all this money, again, whether it's the city, NGOs,
Yep.
whatever it is, to offer services, either offer the services, and if we're spread too thin, sorry,
Yeah.
the door's closed right now, you know, but.
Jose,
I've
for the-
got a pet
and I
peeve.
get
Jose,
it. I-
respectfully, the goddamn problem with the not-for-profits is, they went home at noon Friday. And they're coming back to work at 9 this morning. That's the problem. Now, we have our fearless leader, Mr. Golden, could call there and say, look, you can't keep pulling this baloney, okay? You're here to help people 7 days a week.
That's a huge,
Oh,
that's a
well,
huge issue.
We need our time off, then hire more people.
Well,
Or I'm
the-
kicking you out of town.
What are you doing with the money?
The bigger issue, there it is, right there. The bigger issue is all these NGOs, if you look at their percentages,
You gotta get
how
more
much
on the-
how much of the money goes to direct services versus how much money goes to salaries, you're gonna find out that 60 to 80% of the money gotten by those NGOs are going to salaries.
And who's suffering? It's the people that are supposed to be getting the
Right.
help. And this is a perfect segue for that question that person
Yeah.
asked. Because I don't, maybe again, I don't know, but I didn't really, I seen words.
Right.
You know, there was statements, there was no, so what side of the issue am I standing on? Yes, you are correct. Subsidized housing is supposed to be there to help, but I was just talking to somebody yesterday, $1,800 for a two-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's helping people?
Yeah.
So yes, you are correct. You know, you have people, take a walk with me. My phone number is on my Facebook. Give me a call. Take a walk with me down to the Moody Street projects, anywhere you want. These are people that have been there generationally because they have nowhere else to go. In a perfect world, crap, let me sign up for subsidized
Yeah.
housing. I just quit my job after 22 years. I'm trying to get a masonry business off the ground. I'll go there for a couple years, a year, save a little bit of money. Guess what? Give me one, but you know what? How much is a house gonna cost me? Especially in those 50 market rate houses. That's the problem where we are, you know, a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
You know, so no, I don't know where I'm picking a side on this issue. My side is on the people to make things, again, do we have a housing crisis or do we have a rent crisis? How many people on these new market rate, and even now in some cases, some of this affordable housing are actually from Lowell? We're
Yeah.
bringing people in, you've heard it, sir, disposable income.
Read these two, Tommy.
Maybe get DEA involved,
They have
respectfully.
been.
They
that-
just did. They seen that
They were there
yesterday.
last week.
Yeah, they just released the thing yesterday.
Respectfully, that area should, around the shelter has been a disaster for decades. It's outdated and not functioning properly to help out the people with drug problems, and it's correct. It's just.
It goes back to follow the money.
Yeah.
Follow the money.
Follow the
So
money.
there's a couple things that popped up over my head that I just want to circle back on. One thing is, you mentioned people in subsidized housing being stuck there, having nowhere to go. Absolutely, that is such a huge problem because anyone who does want to, say, get off the street or move out of an abusive situation or something, it's so hard to make that first move to get to your own housing, right? A lot of people end up at the transitional living center. Some people are living in the rooming house that the transitional living center runs, and they're paying, subsidized rent. Getting out of that and moving into an apartment is so difficult and so hard, and that's a problem because then their spot in the rooming house or wherever they are is locked up, and the next person can't move into that, right? So now you have people waiting outside trying to get in, and we can't move people up the ladder into society. And that's been the hardest thing, is having enough affordable, accessible housing to move this along.
Jose, if you
Go ahead,
I don't
John.
mind, if you don't mind, Jose hit the nail on the head. It's a generational thing. Now it's entitlement, you see? It's no longer that these kids grow up in this situation, and then the parents pass away, and they stay in those apartments and continually be housing authority. When I lived in Chelsea, in my younger years in the 60s, right, my parents had to live in housing for a while. It was veterans housing, but we lived in the housing for a while until my folks could get on their feet, and then they bought a home. That's what this is supposed to be all about, a hand up, not a handout.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
right.
You know, and as working individuals, we all know that we feel good about ourselves because of our successes and the reasons that we are economically secure, because we worked our way. Some of these people don't even know and I'm not using it in a derogatory manner, so please understand, because I have relatives who are still in housing that shouldn't be. And I tell them all the time, get out and get a job, help yourself up, oh, well, I'm too depressed, or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't feel safe.
I don't feel safe, right? I mean, we give these opportunities, rightfully so, but then we don't put enough restrictions on it to say, you need to get up and out, you need to get out and do your thing.
And I don't know too many people that, I've been pounding the pavement since January, and this is my neighborhood. This is where I grew up. So I was doing that prior to that, talking to people, helping however I can. I don't know too many people that, given the choice of like, hey, you know what? We have a path to affordable home ownership where you can create some sort of generational wealth. They're going to say, no, I don't want to.
No.
I'm good right here. I just don't. I just don't. But, that's why I was a huge advocate. And trust me, I was not even half a drop in the bucket on Free Community College. I said this right here in front of John because I know John already. It's not a handout, it's an investment. All right, so now I'm walking the streets and now I'm telling people, hey, how old's your kid? Oh, they just graduated? Are they going to college? Oh, well, I'm like, no, don't want to hear it.
No.
You know what? Here's my card.
Get your
I know the president of Middlesex. I'll call him personally if I have to get him to motivate the kids to sign up to college, and I know he will. Let's get him in college, get an associate's, create that and it stinks because I know John agrees with that. You shouldn't have to grab people and hold their hand to progress. But at the end of the day, if that's what it takes, and you have a strong leader that's willing to do that, I would do that for my people every day.
This is what the NGOs should be doing.
Yeah, and that's why it might seem, I wouldn't be surprised if that person that commented that is affiliated or works with an NGO, because I have a big target on my back right now, but I'm not targeting NGOs that are not out here helping people.
Okay, John, what's an NGO?
Nonprofit, they're nonprofit.
Non-governmental organization.
Yeah, non-government, and if they're subsidized by big money and government.
Ooh, we don't have the time.
Jose,
to go
now
down that
recently
rabbit hole.
you did a stone project on Appleton Street.
I did,
There's an
I did.
NGO, this is what's in my craw, right? There's an NGO in Chelsea who was there when I was there, and I was bringing up these figures about 80% versus 20% going back in direct services. Do you know what that NGO head is making for salary today? She might have started at $60,000. She's over $300,000 a year.
You guys are gonna
And it's public information.
I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble. And I'm just gonna say two things, and then John, I would love to just kind of.
Segue.
So,
I got some stuff for you.
34%,
I
I
got some
said this
stuff for Wayne.
already,
Good.
$32 million, 34%. Look up those numbers when it comes to the indirect correlation to the acre. And then, I'm here to spread hope, not fear. I'm here to uplift my people. I'm here to try to provide a better path, whether it's as a city councilor or as a community advocate. Like I said to them, 2,000 of you vote, and even if you vote for the other guy, you embolden me. Because that tells me that 2,000 of you were listening. I'm going to keep fighting for you, and I'm going to keep advocating for you. I'm just getting started. 5 months ago, you didn't know who the heck Jose Cervantes was.
Backing my bus up a little bit. Jose.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Recently, you had a stone project on Appleton Street.
I did. Project Compass.
Doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
How safe did you feel? Did you leave your equipment there when you were home at night, or how
Honestly,
safe did you feel?
If you go down there with one of my papers, they'll all be like, oh, yeah, I know that guy because I was talking to them. You ask for a cigarette, you get a 5-minute lecture. And I talk to you, and I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's really happening.
What did you find out while you had a temporary residency down there?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, and it was a lot of the same thing. I didn't meet too many people that were like, somebody came down here, how dare they, to try to help me. It was, people come down here and we want the help, but, I get it, not being able to walk into the shelter when you're high. They're like, but they need to understand too, we're transitioning, So if you have a nip, and this is what they tell me, they could be, if you drink a nip and you try to go into the shelter or get any type of help, then there's the smell of alcohol. See you later, buddy. See you later. And again, maybe, people they exaggerate things, they want to victimize
No,
themselves.
it's been a dry shelter for a long,
So they're
long
very,
time.
very, 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 very strict. I get being strict within
And now,
reason.
all that good stuff said, we have a executive order. Now, I know we're a Democratic city, we love the Democrats. It's going to be wonderful, it's going to
I
be
love the
wonderful.
people.
That's all we hear from Democrats, it's going to be wonderful.
Give a shit.
Yeah.
I care less about that. Ooh, I
There's an
call myself.
executive-
I like this guy.
The executive order
Everyone
for
trying to kick me out.
My takeaway from this executive order is, we can take the homeless off the street and force treatment on them against their will. That's my takeaway.
I mean,
Well, you
So,
Democrats
Jose-
took away
Let
all
John
that.
finish, let John finish, let John finish.
I got 5,000 people talking over there. What do you want, Mr. Malone?
No, so let John finish, I said.
So my question is, if you're not familiar, you can't know everything. If you're not familiar with this executive order, I respect that, and others want to weigh. What do you think the city should do with this executive order?
What executive order?
Executive order to take the homeless person
Off
off
the-
the street against their will and get them the help they need.
So,
that is a, and as you've known already, John, I'm not a politician, and I'm not really about that whole, ooh, I offended you, but.
Good to see
So it's one of those where somebody, Presto brought up the other day, if somebody gets brought to Lowell General because they had to get Narcan 3 times back to life on the way to the hospital, at the end of the day, how do you just throw that person back in the streets?
Correct.
Am I saying lock them up and throw them in Barica House of
I'm not
Correction
getting an answer.
for
I'm not
3
getting an
weeks?
answer. I'm gonna move on to Wayne.
Yeah, go ahead, because that's a loaded one.
My takeaway from the executive order is, we have a right to take a homeless person off the street and force the care that they need on them. How do you feel?
So I think that, or I know that Trump or any president's executive orders do not change the laws on the books. They don't change federal law, they don't change state law. And I think there's a lot of things at the state level that would not allow Lowell to just immediately start doing that. The biggest thing, if you're going to do something like that, just putting them in the Billerica House of Corrections or choose your spot isn't going to solve the problem without all of the services that they would need, casework, detox, mental health assistance, et cetera, who's going to pay for that?
The sheriff's department is completely qualified to take care of all those issues. They do it on a daily basis with brand spanking new inmates.
Can they handle the volume that we would throw at them? I'm not sure they would.
I am told they're fully staffed by their colleagues that work there.
Okay. I think there's still a lot of questions in my mind, particularly around what the state law says and the impacts there.
My takeaway is, you don't want to move on this issue. Leave it like it is.
I'm happy to have conversations about it. I don't know the answer right away, so.
Understood. So, Tommy, can you read these two
Okay.
when I get them up there?
A hand up is what you get from a friend. A handout is what you get from the government. I can't see the second one, John.
Oh, sorry, I'll drag him up there.
I wish I received EBT when I'm at Market Basket, these carts are full, and pull out that card, Jay. So,
yep.
and I'm just going to say one thing. The homeless, yes, they have rights, and they're human beings. But I also know human beings. I have 2 instances in the last week where a person, I had the experience too, but won't go to the shrine in downtown Lowell anymore because they have homeless people harass them when they're across the street. I had a couple I know that had a gift certificate to Cobblestones, parked on Merrimack Street. 2 homeless people started bothering them. They got on their car and went home. That's not right either. I mean, that's what, the police should have a right to, okay, you're under arrest. You're harassing these people. You're trying to get people out, going to church. You can't even go to church without people bothering you, you know?
Well, John, Tommy and John, and Jose and Wayne, we're so concerned about the rights of the people who are mentally ill, but we're not that concerned about me or an individual walking down the street. Do we have rights to
taxpayer.
be able to go and walk down the street without being harassed or without, being, stepping over a body that's laying down there. I mean, Mike Dukakis was one of those governors who I supported in his first term and in second term, but he deinstitutionalized all these mental health institutions because they wanted to save money in the budget, right?
John,
they need to do something for these people.
Piss poor facilities. The
Yep.
stuff I saw at Worcester State Hospital was criminal.
Right.
Criminal. The treatment that they had of those
Exactly.
patients. And those guys were all getting a pension doing it. So
But that's
I'm happy.
management. That's not.
It was a time for change. It's too bad he burnt them all out.
Mm-hmm.
But the care they were getting at Worcester State Hospital was terrible.
Well, I agree, but that's government's
Go ahead, Wayne. You wanna say
issue
something?
to make sure it's done right.
I just want to jump in and say, there is a clear line between harassment and someone asking for $1, right?
Right.
And Lowell Police will enforce harassment. They will make sure that doesn't happen if it's reported to them. They can't do anything about somebody walking up and say, hey, can you spare a butt? Can I have $1? That's free speech, fine, whatever. But if somebody is actively harassing somebody, banging on windows, making people feel unsafe, that's an entirely different thing.
In fact, for a while there, the Shrine, where I go a lot down Lee Street, they actually had a cruiser station there at the masses because they were getting harassed. The Parisians were getting harassed so much, but I don't know if that went away, but, so.
No, this
Home
is
Run
the-
Comrade, maybe take the money they're giving to the newcomers and use towards the homeless
There you
problem.
This is the
We can use their EBT money to pay for rehabilitation, so.
This is the best thing, though. We're having a conversation.
That's right.
That's and it's starting to get to the point where the people in the streets are starting to feel like, all right, now we need to start seeing some action, and we, again, having a conversation, but we need to move forward. We need to start, whether it's looking into these NGOs, whether it's looking into what can we actually do to, like I was saying earlier, somebody that has to get brought back to life. But you know what? Now you're getting, what is it, like Section 4? What is it that, when somebody is mentally unstable, you can section them for
Section
72
them, I think was
hours.
the name.
So
I think
now
it's
instead of
17.
section them for 72 hours, this is the third time this month we've had to knock on you. Do we want to have to do that? But again, at what point do we stop moving forward because we're trying to remain humane? Sometimes you need, as much as you need a helping hand from a friend, sometimes you need a kick in the butt too.
Yeah, exactly.
But we need to be able to find that common ground so that we can move forward, because sitting here and, let me give this organization $1 million to sit there and stare at a whiteboard all day, we could use that $1 million for something else. We need to start taking action. And sometimes one side's not gonna like that action and the other side's not gonna like that action, but it's about the taxpayer, it's about the people. So we need to stop playing identity politics and get something done.
But we also need to follow state and federal law,
Oh.
because we can't just make it up as we go along, because then the city gets sued, and then the taxpayer pays for that.
Oh, for sure. And,
So-
and this is something that the state needs to start addressing too. This is, if as much as it flows downhill, the baby gets pushed uphill. We need to start holding everybody accountable. I'm sure you've heard me say it before. We keep saying we asking the state for money for more mental health, that they shut down the hospitals. And what, we just leaving it at that? They're just ignoring us?
So Jose, we got 5 minutes to go and win, we got 5 minutes to go. So Jose, why should you be elected as one of the two, nominated, I should say, as one of the two next Tuesday in the election? Why should you be the new councilor in that district?
I want to address a lot of these issues that are not being addressed.
Sorry, time is short, we gotta move.
That's what I'm giving them, we got 5 minutes, so.
No, I just need a minute,
Yeah.
I've showed it time and time again, and I've said it time and time again, I'm the only candidate, Mr. Wayne Jenness here can attest to that for the past year, every Tuesday, he sees me there. If I'm not there, it's because I work late and I'm listening to it on my headset, so I am ready to do the job on day one. I have no invested interest, I have no endorsements, I have nothing. The only people that I'm concerned with is the people in my neighborhood, my neighbors, the people that I see every day, the people that see me at Market Basket. We have a lack of leadership now, and the fact that the other candidate is going around spreading fear instead of hope, telling you that you should be scared walking down your streets that they're not clean enough, then why aren't you out there cleaning it with us? We're out there every Saturday, Get out there. You have a choice to make.
Wayne, why should you be reelected in November? You don't have a primary opponent. You're lucky.
Thanks, Tom.
You should have said, when you said about your thumb, you should have said, the reason why I didn't go to Switzerland was to save the taxpayers money. That's what you should have said.
I'm about the truth, and that was the truth in that one.
Yeah.
I think it was an important trip to Switzerland. Wish I could have gone.
You got to report on that
regardless.
probably at the council meeting tonight.
Exactly. Well, no council meeting tonight, next Tuesday.
Week, okay. So Brad, why should you be reelected in November?
Sure, thank you. So for me, this election is about continued progress. I think we've made steps in the right direction. We got a long ways to go. We got a lot of stuff in flight. I've had the experience of building the relationships with the administration, with the neighborhood groups, with the residents, with the people all around the city, and been working to get stuff done for the past 4 years. We've moved the needle, and I want to keep pushing it, and I believe I've got the experience to keep doing it. I enjoy this job. It's one of the best things I've done in my life, and I'm really happy to have an opportunity to serve the people of District 4 and Lowell in general, and I would just want to keep doing that and doing what I can to build the best version of Lowell we can.
And as a district councilor, you represent your district, but you represent the whole city too. You have a say in other projects and issues that.
Tomorrow, Linda Brown's gonna be the host, Hillary Winterstrom's gonna be co-host, and City Councilor John Dakota's coming at 7. Time is short, Tom.
John
By the
Zimini,
way,
you'll
John,
have some more interest, more stuff for us, I'm sure, in the coming weeks to come
Oh,
back
yes,
here and talk.
absolutely,
We'll see it on Facebook. and-
John, Fred Wilkie says hello.
Oh, great man, Freddie. Great man, Freddie.
Well, thank you all for coming, and we have about a minute and a half to go. Really appreciate you guys coming in. We'll probably see us again if you get nominated, Jose, and Wayne, you'll probably see you again before November. John, I know we'll see you again. You're not going
Absolutely.
anywhere. I know some people
This
want
is
to see
fun.
you.
I have fun.
I have a great time every
You
time
think you
I'm
have
on
a
there.
target on your back?
And I love it. I love coming
And I'm not
here
in politics.
And sometimes I deliberately try to get John going because
Yeah,
you
that's
got to
right.
hear a little bit of
That's
everything.
right.
If you only stay in one little circle with a bunch of yes men and people that agree with you, you can't
I wish
do
you
that.
guys luck. You're both good choices to be
No,
on that.
Thank you.
give
I
them
appreciate
give them
that.
the credit for putting name in the ballot. I always say
Yes.
that. There's people that won't do it. Well, they're afraid to do it. We're done? One
1
minute to
minute.
go.
All right.
And there are people that don't want to do it because of John, right? Issues, getting attacked on Facebook and getting,
Well, we're not
your
attacked.
not
They
you,
take-
your family.
No, but they take it as attack, and because we're just pointing out, and when they start calling me names, I go back at them,
Right.
call them names.
But it's when they're going after your family
My
too.
wife,
John.
yeah,
That's
obviously.
that's
But I
awful.
want to invite everybody to make sure they go and like and share what's happening, Drake it, on Facebook.
I've already done that, so.
Yeah.
Do that as soon as we get off the air.
There you go. There you go.
Well, thank you guys for having me in. I really appreciate the opportunity to come down and chat. So thank you.
Thanks again.
Okay, John,
Hopefully
thank
we'll
you.
see you again
Well,
soon.
somebody?
Say goodbye. Thanks.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye, all.
Have a great day.